Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this channel. I'm Megan, the Healing Foods Coach, and I'm so glad you've taken time out of your day to watch my videos and be supportive and like and comment. Thank you so much. So today's topic, if you will, is all about what different levels of healing can look like, and that being able to get out every day and hold down a job or do some kind of work is definitely a sign that we are improving in our health overall. And I say that because that's something that's a goal of mine that I'm trying to achieve. So basically, to let you guys know, the last time I ever had an interview for a job was about 12 years ago. And the last time I was working in a full-time capacity and worked in an office environment was 8 years ago. And I was signed off for medical leave. And as you guys will probably know, hopefully, just from my other videos, from learning about my story, is that I had to stop working. My fibromyalgia pain was so bad. My brain fog was so bad. I could not keep up with the work requirements of accurate data entry. I couldn't concentrate or focus. I was constantly in pain throughout my body, sitting in an office chair all day long. I started having to require 2 crutches to get around. And in fact, it reached a point where I could not sit for long stretches or stand for long periods. Most of the time I had to lay down, which you can't do in an office. And so I had to stop working, and I did. And that was my life for a very long time. And, as I've been following this carnivorous way of eating, as I've shared in other videos, as I've shared in different podcast interviews with different people in the space, one of the first things I noticed, as far as my fibromyalgia was concerned, was my brain fog started to lift a couple months after I was eating this way. Now, I had seen some weight loss. Not going to lie, that was amazing. That was like shocking and hard for me to even believe in the beginning. And some days I still have a hard time believing it 4 years later. But I lost, within the first couple of months, I think I lost around 30, somewhere between 30 and 40 pounds, I think. And that was exciting. But I suddenly realized one day that I was starting to get my brain back, which was a joyful moment. I could actually start reading and focusing and concentrating and absorbing information and wanting to pay attention to life and to things around me, because my mind was mine again. I had it back. I wasn't wandering aimlessly through life, not remembering anything, basically having no real short-term memory. That was finally coming back. And while pain-wise and physically, I was still needing medication and my wheelchair, my mind was starting to come back. And that was a great moment. And of course, since that time, not only has all the brain fog completely gone, has all the fibromyalgia pain completely gone. I have no symptoms, have not had any fibro symptoms in over a year, which is fantastic. So nothing in the upper chest, nothing in the arms and the legs, nothing. Now, I will clarify, because I do have SI joint dysfunction, which means my SI joint is not completely in the right position where it ought to be. When my disc went out 10 years ago, almost 10 and a half years ago, it seems to have caused the SI joint to move enough that it's out of position. And how I know this is because my pelvic bone is slightly tilted and my left side is just a couple millimeters higher than my right. And that will probably be like that forever. Okay, so because I have dysfunction, I have chronic, very low-grade inflammation, and therefore chronic low-grade pain. And it's always there. But when I walk for 20 or 30 minutes, when I do some, just some gentle stretches in the morning, that helps relieve a lot of that pain and those symptoms. So that's cool. I can work with that. That's great. But as far as the actual fiery burning, almost electric like pain that would travel throughout the muscles of my arms and legs, that is gone completely. And the reason why I want to share that is because it's been incredible. And it's only because, honestly, because I changed my diet. That's it. All I did was change my diet. For me, I had to cut out all plant materials, all of it. I mean, the first things I cut out was seed oils, refined sugars, and junk food. Gone. Cold turkey. And it sucked. And the withdrawals were horrible. But after about 5 days, I felt way better. That was where I started. And then a couple weeks further on, I started properly into keto, and I cut out all the starch. I cut out all the fruit, and I cut out all the starchy vegetables. A couple more weeks, I realized I can't do vegetables or plants of any kind. So that was it. That was me, just animal meats and fat. And eggs. Sorry. So muscle meat with fat and eggs, and that's all I had, and that's all I eat, pretty much, every day. And over time, the inflammation went, the chronic pain went, that sort of electric feeling in my muscles and legs disappeared. And very slowly and surely, I realized that when the inflammation was gone from my body and from my mind, and I accepted the fact that, hey, my disc has retracted, my back is actually mostly healed, I might not actually need my chair. I can maybe take a few steps, which became walking. That was it. That was game over. It was a year ago. A year ago Friday was the last time I ever used my wheelchair. Not needed it since. Not used any crutches, no assistance of any kind. It's been amazing, and it's been so freeing. Why do I share that? Because my mental fog and my physical inflammation and pain was reduced as my body kept healing and healing and healing, and I got rid of the excess weight I was carrying, which took all the pressure off my joints. All of those good things very slowly started to build up activity levels to now I'll walk several miles a day and feel pretty good about it. Why am I sharing that? Because I realized that as my physical body was starting to heal, and over time my mental and spiritual well-being started to heal, I realized that I was wanting more out of life than just the physical healing. But let me just say, the physical healing was phenomenal and incredible and amazing. And I would never take it back. I don't regret any of it, obviously, because I do not need a wheelchair anymore. And I was in one for almost 9 years. I was on crutches around the house for almost 9 years. And I get around fine, and I can do housework and walk the dogs and take a walk into town and have coffee with my husband or with friends. I can get around on my own 2 feet, and it's absolutely phenomenal after years of not being able to do that. But I think I might have shared this with you guys in a previous video, and it is still true. Now I'm finding I want to find other things that can challenge me. You know, I made a video last week, do something that challenges you. So for me on Friday, I went into our local swimming pool and I swam some laps, and I felt phenomenal. Now, I was wiped for the next 2 days, but I felt great at the time. Having not properly done actual swimming, I'm not talking floating. I swam actual laps. My technique was probably crap, but I swam 10 laps. I've not done that in at least 15 years, probably longer. And I felt great. And I think going forward, it'll probably be either Friday or Saturday is going to be my day in the pool. That's going to be my day to go in. And I found it's crazy. It was exercise, but I found it so restful, which I know doesn't make sense, but it's true. I found it so relaxing and calming. Probably helped I was in the slow lane, and I was so therefore taking my time. And also because I was in the water, I was not feeling any stress on my joints or anything else. And for my SI issues, my SI joint issues, it was fantastic. So That's amazing. And I'm going to keep going back at least once a week. That is my plan. I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick to it. The other thing I've been wanting to do is to find work again in an office environment. Now, in case you're worried, don't be, because I am still going to be doing one-to-one coaching. I have every intention of keeping up with that. My hours of availability will be a bit different once I land something, but this is something to keep me challenged, to help me get to meet other people, to interact with others socially. I love my husband. I love my son. We have some good friends. However, I spend long amounts of time on my own, and I miss what I used to have when I was working, which is that office camaraderie, that connecting with other human beings, even if it's not in a super deep way, even if it's just, hey, good morning, how are you today? I kind of miss that, right? So excitingly, I think I've actually had, I've got a few interviews lined up this week. Don't know what's going to come out of it. Who knows? I'm going to keep applying to things, see what happens. But I figured, hey, I'm only 52. I got at least another 20 years before I'm ready to retire. I want to find things to keep myself occupied and do with my day. And I can. And that was the biggest thing. I can actually get back and work in an office environment once again. So I'm excited. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because it's encouraging to me that for one, I mean, for one thing, when I was first injured, I was still working, but it became very obviously difficult because I was missing a lot of details. My accuracy was way down. My brain fog was just becoming too much too soon. And I was in too much pain. And if that hadn't happened, I would have kept working. But I didn't. I had to stop. And so I do miss the camaraderie of working with a group, being in an office, working with other colleagues. I'm looking forward to that. And if you had asked me 10 years ago if I ever thought I'd be looking for work again, I would have said absolutely not, because I can barely make it through a day at the office now. At that point, if you'd asked me 8 years ago, I would have said absolutely never, no way, because, well, it's fibromyalgia. You can't cure it. And that is technically true. So I will not say that I've cured my fibromyalgia, but I have been, I like to think of it as being fibromyalgia is in remission. I have been symptom free for over a year, which is, to me, is fantastic news. And that just shows me that I'm still not done healing and improving and feeling even better and better all the time. So some people, I know there are people who come into this space who overall don't have a whole lot health-wise that's wrong with them, which is amazing, which is great. But they also know that a carnivorous way of eating or a proper human diet is ultimately the best thing for them. And that's why they take this approach, right? And then there, of course, are others like me who have a lot of weight to lose, who also have different complicated medical issues. And this way of eating has certainly helped me heal those. But I wanted to share that because regardless of where you might be at, if you're lucky and you do not struggle with an autoimmune condition or severe intolerances, or you're not obese or massively overweight, but you just know that ultimately eating protein and fat is what we're supposed to do as humans, and that's the best way forward. That is fantastic. And I'm so glad for you that you don't have any major health issues. But if you also are coming from an area of, well, you've got loads of health issues and you're overweight and you're type 2 diabetic, or you're pre-diabetic, or you have hypertension, or you might be heading towards cardiovascular disease, this can help you as well. So regardless of where you're coming from, whether you are unhealthy or just unhealthy in your diet, or whether you are truly unhealthy and infirm or not, this way of eating is so beneficial to all of us. It really is. Okay, regardless of where you might be coming from, whether you are already a performing high-level athlete, or or you've never really worked out a day in your life, whether you are, mobile and you're walking everywhere, you're running, you're doing all this stuff, or you're like I was, and you have extremely limited mobility, and you're in a lot of chronic pain, this can really be beneficial too. So wherever you are on the spectrum, there's a potential of improvement and healing. And it's not always what we think it will be. When I first started on this, I thought, okay, maybe I'll lose some weight, get rid of some excess body fat, and I'll feel better about myself. And that's it. That's as far as I thought it would go. Never expected to get rid of my brain fog. Never expected to put my fibromyalgia into remission, to heal my IBS. I never expected to reduce my Raynaud's. I never expected to completely reverse my hypothyroidism. None of it. I never, ever expected any of those benefits, and yet I have them. And I have mobility, and I have more energy, and I have a brain that is excited and functioning properly and wants to learn and retain new things and new information. And so for wherever we're coming from, this way of eating can be so helpful. And so that's a big reason why I wanted to make this video. So I am hopefully going to be landing a job soon. I'll certainly keep you guys posted. But as I've mentioned, I am still offering coaching sessions. For right now, there's no change to my schedule or availability. That will change once I land my job. But in the meantime, I will be offering coaching sessions for those of you who are interested. And I will continue to do that as well. When I am working, it'll just be different hours of availability. So thank you guys for all of your support and for watching. And I really hope that you guys have really fantastic days. Thanks for taking time out and watching my little videos. I appreciate it. I really, really do. You guys are the best. Until the next time, I will see you guys in the next video. That's it for now. Bye.